Well, there are many companies today making big announcements. One of them is Be My Eyes. Mike Buckley joins us along with Patrick Long from InnerSearch to tell us all about some big news. Guys, what's new?
We're announcing a strategic alliance between InnoSearch and Be My Eyes, and I could not be more excited to kind of break that news here with you all. I think you know better than me, Stephen, that InnoSearch has built something beautiful, right? And created a truly accessible shopping experience that continues to get better and iterate. And after, a couple of weeks of discussions with InnoSearch, I think we really figured out that there's a lot of mutual respect, a shared mission, right? To provide like great tools that the blind and low vision community can use to kind of enhance their own power. And so we're going to work together to do that on shopping. And I'll get into the specifics a little bit, but Patrick, I'm sure you'd like to add something here at this point.
Yeah, so as you guys all know, Be My Eyes has been such a respected application for visual assistance for the blind and low vision. And we've been talking with Mike Buckley for some time now. And, after a lot of discussions, was so surprised to see that, their vision and our vision so closely intersects. Right, we see that the blind and low vision today struggles very much so with e-commerce and shopping, right? And a lot of the world today is inaccessible digitally. So we're very excited to bring all the features of InnoSearch to the Be My Eyes app. And of course, all people that use InnoSearch through Be My Eyes will have also a 2% cash back. So we're very excited to share this and work together with Be My Eyes on this shared vision.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, the cashback part, Shaun and Steve, is cool. So if you connect through to InnoSearch through our app, and there'll be multiple ways to do that in the Be My Eyes app, right? Including on the home screen and as well as in the community tab and the service directory tab. But if you connect and shop through that way, you'll get a 2% credit in your InnoSearch account for kind of future purchases. So, and again, very clear, we're not charging any consumer, any member of the blind or low vision community, anything for this, but we are going to give that 2% credit back.
Now you've got me. That was it. That's all I needed. I'm in. This is really intriguing. So let's get into the specifics a little bit. Does it throw you out to the InnoSearch app, or is Be My Eyes app itself integrating this? How's this working?
So the way it's going to start initially is it'll go to the InnoSearch website, right? But Patrick and his team and our team are talking about ways to make this experience really beautiful over the long term. And we hope our work together lasts for a long time. So Shaun, we're going to iterate, but initially it'll go to a link to the InnoSearch website, and you'll get your credit there.
Yeah, I think we will do this in stages. Right now, it will be a link, like Mike has said. But in the future, there may be, more ways of collaborating more closely. So we'll start off with a link and see what the community thinks, what users think. And please leave us feedback. Please let us know what you guys prefer. And we'll iterate and continue to make it better and better.
I've been using InnerSearch a lot, thanks, guys, because I really need to spend more money. And the thing is, I just love the website. I genuinely do. I love it, and I've been talking about it on the show. In fact, I've been annoying Shaun quite a bit about it.
Yes, constantly.
Because I'm trying to get him to use it, but he's such a stubborn swine that he will not just do it. And I'm like, Shaun, get onto the website and try it, because honestly, it's great. And I think that oftentimes there's that nervousness of trying something new, right? There's that familiarity, even though perhaps the Amazon site is a bit challenging and can be challenging a lot of the time. And of course, changes can break things and all that stuff. And we know all that. The familiarity can very quickly, you can very quickly get used to using InnoSearch. And, you've made so many changes to the site since its iteration. I remember emailing myself, Patrick, and your team, and saying, look, there's things here that aren't quite right. The search bar wasn't easy to get focus on. It was fixed in a matter of days, and the implementation of, simple payment methods and the way to pay easily, saving, that information to your account, all that stuff it's a joyous experience, and the layout is good. The fact that you've got the Ask InnerSearch functionality built in, meaning that I can actually go on there and query the images of the product and find out more about it. I mean, a classic example I remember was someone buying a Bluetooth speaker, and they wanted to know if they had a headphone jack in it, and they were able to find that out. There was no information in the actual detail of the description, but the images showed it clearly, and you were able to get that. And again, you're not going to get that anywhere else. And so, I've got to say, to you, Patrick, amazing work. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we're always taking feedback from our community. In fact, a lot of the features that you've seen were direct feedback from our customers, right? They told us that they prefer a better payment solution since Stripe is very inaccessible. CAPTCHAs keep popping up, which obviously for the blind and low vision would be impossible to solve. So we get feedback on a very regular basis, and we constantly iterate very quickly and make it better. I mean, we very much so have a startup mentality, right? We move fast. Sometimes we may break things, so we really appreciate your patience, if that ever happens. But we're here to make something very cool and make accessibility for the blind and low vision happen.
As you mentioned there, you're very much the startup passion almost. What's the take up been like? Because you're still fairly new, and yet I hear you talked about all the time. So how have you found the take up in our community?
I would say phenomenal. I mean, even when you guys first reached out to us, I think many months back, I think it was October or so when we first bumped heads. I mean, it was completely organic. You guys discovered us. I'm not sure how, to be honest, but I guess all these
always
people
shopping. He'll find everything.
Yeah, I was just going around the web looking for accessible websites to buy things. Find one.
Yeah, and that feedback, right? Those organic discoveries, grassroots growth really is what sort of propelled the team to be even more excited and continue to double down in our product, right? We don't spend much, if any, money on marketing. So all the community really has been really the fuel to, ignite and create such a wonderful product for us.
Yeah. Mike, I'm going to ask you, where does this partnership meet for you? I'm trying to sort of work out what the relationship is for you with InnerSearch here.
So the big thing for us, Stephen, is strategically, we think about Be My Eyes as a place where we want our community to go to solve problems, right? We want to have a broad repository of tools, right, that give power to the blind and low vision community. And that has historically been on visual assistance, right? Whether it's with AI or a human volunteer. But as you've told me, Stephen, and others have told me, a significant pain point for the community of people who are blind or have low vision is shopping and commerce generally. So if we can provide tools for shopping and commerce that reduce that pain and increase power, we want to integrate it in our app. So what we get out of it is we're viewed as more of a tools provider that's broader, right, than just purely visual description. Now, look, some people may get annoyed with this, right? Like, why is there a bar on the bottom of my home screen now that says shop on InnoSearch? And I get it, right? But I think that we want to facilitate discovery. We want to facilitate power. And ultimately, if you think about Be My Eyes as a place where someone who's blind or has low vision can go to solve more problems, that's what we want to be, right? So that's kind of the strategy for us. And I'm going to out you here, Stephen, because you're one of about the 30 people that I called to have blunt conversations about InnoSearch. And you said two things. You said you love the product, right?
Yep.
But you also said that InnoSearch really listened to feedback. And that was something I heard echoed at least a half a dozen times from the multiple conversations I had, because philosophically, it's how we operate also. And so we'll listen, right? It'll be in the app in multiple places, and maybe our community will say, would you stop putting it there? Or I don't want it here. And we're going to iterate and make it hopefully beautiful and seamless. But ultimately for us strategically, this is about wanting to put more tools in people's hands for more power.
Again, if you have any feedback, thoughts to make it better, things you would like to see, please let us know. At least in the United States, we'll be actually launching groceries and food delivery in the next couple of weeks, probably early June.
Wow.
Right. So
Yes,
that's something
I was just going to ask for that.
yeah. So people have been mentioning that a lot. A lot of the small mom and pop retailers, smaller grocery stores currently are not on InnoSearch. And I know our delivery times are a few days, and sometimes people want something right now, right, in the next hour or so. And so in the next couple of weeks, we'll be adding that for our US customers first.
I think we all love a deal, but I'll be honest, I think that the key thing for me is, especially when I heard about flights being available through InnerSearch, that really interested me. And the immediate thought I had, and Patrick will know exactly where I'm going here, is, okay, that's cool. Can we do hotels as well now, please? Because I'd really like to be able to do my hotels on that.
Yeah.
I just do it all on the one, because I find booking hotels a nightmare. And the same with flights. I'd say more so with flights, to be honest, which is why I think it's so valuable what you've done there. Now, I haven't had occasion to need a flight to go somewhere recently. Well, I did, but to California, but that was dealt with by someone else. But, not on my own. And I think the next trip my wife and I have, that is where I'm going, right? I'm going to be going to InnoSearch, and I'll be testing it out and trying it there. And of course, I'll feed back to you and let you know how I got on. But your track record, and your reputation stands before you. It's a great experience. I've had no issues at all. No issues with buying, no issues with delivery, no issues with nothing. So, so far, so good. And I would expect, therefore, that to be the case with the flights. But as I say, the opportunity to grow in this is huge for you. And I just think it's a really exciting time. One thing I want to ask you about, though, because one area, Patrick, which I think is going to be so useful to people who are not online, because we talk about tech all the time. Of course, that's what Double Tap is about. Well, okay, we talk about it sometimes. But, most of the time we talk about tech.
Sometimes.
And, when we talk about it, we can fall into the trap of forgetting there are many people out there who are either, not interested at all and don't want any of this stuff. They're not interested in buying smartphones and using computers. They just want to live their lives. But they're interested in shopping. They're interested in doing things. And you launched a phone number that people could call and speak to an AI and shop that way. Tell us about the genesis of that, how it came about, and how you got to the point where you were confident enough to release that on the world.
Yeah, so the genesis of that idea actually was through seeing how our customers navigated our site using the screen reader, right? So we do a lot of user studies, customer feedback sessions, and we actually watch how people use JAWS or NVDA, Apple VoiceOver, and how they navigate our site, right? And what we saw is, some people, they navigate it, but they get stuck and they start verbalizing what they would like to us, right? And they say, oh, can you just help me find this? Can you just take me to this screen, right? And we had this aha moment, right? Brian and I, as we were watching our users use our platform, they're always verbalizing what they would like as they get stuck. Wow, AI today, with the advent of large language models and the ability to understand, a voice command would just be perfect, right? Say somebody is navigating using their screen reader, and they get stuck to stuck on a site, on an area of your website. They could just verbalize the next action they would like to take, right? And then that was the genesis of the idea. And, why not just do it end to end, right? Not just with the screen reader, but just integrate it directly with the phone line, right? And through our conversations with a lot of nonprofits out there, right, they say, you have to make whatever event you're hosting accessible by the phone, because some people just don't have good internet access or a great computer to be able to use Zoom, right? And so we know there's a really big intersection of a user group, right, that may not be super tech savvy, right, and just prefer to do things the old-fashioned way of picking up their phone, dialing a number, right, and talking to a person, or in this case, an AI, right? And technology has advanced in such a remarkable way that AI can understand just so much. right? And after doing a little bit of prototyping and tinkering around, we were able to create a voice command shopping experience, right? So you can just dial the number at your, we have 4 different numbers for various countries, the US, UK, Australia, and Canada. And just by dialing, now you can speak to our AI, and that AI can assist you end to end, right? Discovering the product, exploring the billions of products in our catalog, and then you can do the checkout all from your phone. So it's been very exciting. Actually, about a quarter to a half of our traffic comes from the phone now. And that's something that has been really remarkable. And a lot of our users love it and use it quite frequently, actually.
Wow, that's amazing. That amount of traffic already on that service. And what's the success rate? I mean, how many times do people not get what they want? Have you had much feedback about that?
So I would say a lot of people like to call it for fun. I've noticed.
It's not me.
They call it and they just talk to it, actually, and they just browse. We listen. We record some of the conversations, and we've been listening in some of the time, and they just they like to have a conversation, learn about different products. So, some of the time they don't buy. But yeah, it's actually very interesting to see the interactions and sort of how the product is being used. So I would say, for the people that want to make a purchase, they've been able to do it without a hitch. For the ones that are using it for other reasons, like discovering products and learning about things, they seem to be enjoying it as well.
I can only say, when you start doing fast food deliveries, I think you're going to regret that 2% cashback. That's all I'm going to say. When we get on
bankrupt
there.
in a week. Listen, I think this is fantastic. I'm so pleased to see you guys working together. It kind of makes me feel more confident about the future of what you're doing. I think from your perspective, Patrick, it's a great way to connect with a community that you already are connected in with anyway, but to connect to more of that community. And for you, Mike, I guess it's a great opportunity just to shine a light, isn't it? Which is what you're about, really. It's almost like you're kind of working with these people to shine a light on all the great work people are doing out there. It's just fantastic. But at the same time, we're coming to Be My Eyes to get it. And I think that's fantastic. Guys, I wish you all the best with the partnership, and long may it continue. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. And please, nobody is really too shy in this community about feedback anyway, but Patrick and I want to hear from you. So, in the InnerSearch app, in the Be My Eyes app, there are multiple feedback mechanisms, and we want to know. We want to hear what you think. And I promise you, we read every single one. So send them our way.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Patrick.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.